Hi friends, let's see the app we are going to develop in the next couple of lessons. When you run this app, this is the main option screen. You will see a menu which is on a table view. So I can click on say employee options, then it will load this data, and all the employee data are loaded dynamically from a data source, right? And then I can click on employee, and then it's dynamically changing this page with that particular employee and the projects. If I go back and click another employee, you can see the same page is dynamically changing with that employee and the projects, which are all loaded dynamically. The images are also loaded dynamically from a data source, right? So it's different images loaded dynamically. And then I can delete employees. Let's say I can swipe and say delete, then it deletes the data, right? If not, I can click on edit and say if I want to delete something, click on this and click delete, right? And when I'm done, I can say done, right? And then further I can insert data dynamically. Let us say a section P and say Peter, for example, and click OK. So it all gets added dynamically, right? Then once I'm done with employees, I can go scroll down, right? And then I can go into department options, right? So department, and do the same thing for department, right? But it's very important that you have to make sure to look at the next couple of lectures in this on table views, that is part 1, 2, 3, etc., until we complete this app. It explains all the theory and the practical knowledge which you need to know about developing this app, right? Okay friends, we are very excited to show you how to develop this app practically, and let's do it now. Okay friends, so the following is the outcome of this part of the lesson. When you complete this part of the lesson, your app will look like this. Until you complete the other parts of the lesson, it will dynamically load a list of employees, and also it will dynamically load a list of images, right? So you will know how to dynamically load stuff. That is very important for you to do the next app, But after you complete this lesson, make sure to go and look at the next lessons in order to complete the full app demonstrated earlier. Hi friends, let's start the next lesson in this series. Table views, dynamic content, UITableViewController part 4. I'm really excited to take you in this lesson, right? Let's go forward, my friends. Tools used, we will be using Xcode version 11.4.1 for practicals and Apple Developer Docs for referencing. Prerequisite, very important. You have to look at the following previous lessons on table views in Objective-C in this series. You have to look at table view static content, definitely you have to look at table view dynamic content, the previous part 1, part 2, part 3. You should have a look at some of the previous basic lessons in Objective-C in this series, right? In this session, you are going to learn about using UITableViewController further to display list of employee names, which we did in the previous one, right? So in addition to that, we'll be continuing to use the UITableView data source protocol, that is to override the methods to give the data items for the table view we have done earlier. Additionally, we are going to add images into the table view cells, right? That's the plan. The plan is to do it with practical demonstrations, right, my friends? Awesome, right? We'll do practical demonstrations on this, right? So let's go and start the practical. So let's run the where we stopped from, right? Let's run the project from where we stopped. Let's see what's the current output, right? Okay, it will succeeds. Awesome. So we can see the 5 employees which we did in the previous lesson, right? So in the previous lesson, if you look at the view controller M, right, we got this array with these 5 names, right? Now let's move forward from here. Now let's say that you want to also display an image, right? Some icon or image for each employee, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the images, right, into my project, right? So I prefer to have it in a separate folder, right? Right click, let's say a new group of images, right? Awesome, right? And then into this I'm going to add some icons, right? So just add some icons from your computer, right? Add files, right? And let's say I prefer from my downloads, let's say some icons, right? So I'm going to add some icons, right? Awesome, right? So I got them added, right? Now my next thing is now I got some images, right? So let's go and look at this the code, and let's also look at the storyboard, right? Let's look at this. So in the cell the content of the cell. So we'll just give a try to create the image now, right? So we got the images. So let's give some names, right? And let's try to make it work, right? So I got some images. So what I'm going to do is, inside table view cell forward index part, I'm going to assign an image to the cell, right? So first of all, I'm going to create an image. So to create an image object, I will say UI image, right? And I will create an object of it, right? UI image. And I will instantiate image, right? So I will say to get an image, I will say UI image, right? Then I will use the method image name, like message passing, right? Image name. And then as a parameter, I can give the name of the image, right? So I got some images. So what are the names of it, right? So I got see icons for people names, set one a dot p. I'm going to give this name and see what happens, right? Icons for people name, set one a png. Let's give that name here, right? So let's put that name here. Make sure just whatever the name, right, of your image, right? And then what you do is, my name is a bit lengthier, right? Doesn't matter. Then on the cell, right, there is, you can access the image view, a property of the cell, right? It's a property image view dot image, right? So the image property, you can assign a UI image, right? So I already have a UI image above called image, right? So I'm going to assign it to the cell and going to run this. So let's see what's going to happen, right? And if you want to see what that image 1A is, if you click on it, you can see it's this 1A, this 1B, some icons, right? Okay, 1D, so this is 1A. So I should see this image 1A, right? That's what I'm expecting to see, right? Because I have given it. Let's run this now. Okay, guys, awesome. See, guys, this is how you assign a image into the cell, right? So this gives a nice look and feel, right? Like, so that in front of the employee names you can assign an icon or image, right? A small image of those, right? Now if I say if my second image is 1B, right? So if I say 1B, it assigns the image 1B, right? But what I want to happen is every employee will have a different image, right? So it's not the same image for all the employees, isn't it, right? So how can I make this happen that way? So the same, I can have an array of image names, right? Like array of list of employee names. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a array of, right, ARR list of employee image icons, right? I just call it like that, right? List of ARR employee image icons, right? So let's now go and add, let's fill that with the values, right? So let's say ARR list of employee image icons, right? And for that, I will put the names of my images, right? Actually, my image names are a bit lengthier, right? So if right, so this is the 1A, right? The first image, right? Then for the second employee, I would say it's 1B, right? Then for the third employee, I will put the image 1C, my friends, right? Then for the fourth one, I will say image 1. So it's just the names of images, right? And 1E, right? And then what I had to do is, I should, when it comes to the image, the image name, I should not hard code like this, right? So this image name, I can get it from the array, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a string variable. I'm going to say image name, and every time the cell is created, right, from that array of employee icons, right? So from that array of employee icons, how about if I say okay 0? Now you know what happens is it always gets the element at index 0, right, as the image name. Let's start with this, and then as the image name here, I'm going to pass that, right? I'm going to pass this variable name, right, just to start with, right? So it's always getting image 0, but let's see whether this works, right? So let's run this and see whether it at least loads the first image, right, for everyone. See, it loads, right? Now how about if I say the second image, that means index 1, right? So it should load the second image, which is, I guess, the green color one, right? Awesome, right? So it works, but it's the same image for everybody. Now, to make it dynamic, I had to use the same technique which I use for the array of list of employee names, right? Because when a cell is being created, when from the index part, you can find out what the current cell is, meaning what is the section number and what's the row number. So from the index part, you can say dot row and figure out which row you are at, and that is like row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, but its indexes are 0 based. It's like 0, 1, 2, right? So every time it's in that particular row, it will take the relevant image name from this array and place it to this variable, and it puts it here. So it's updating it dynamically, friends. So if you run this now, you should see that it should give different image. See, it's working. Awesome, friends, right? So this is how you would add an image into uh, a table view, right? Okay, let's see what's next, my friends. Okay, friends, so let's look at so we completed the lesson plan, we completed the practical demonstrations, right? So we completed adding images. Conclusion is we continued using the table view controllers and the other stuff. So we continued using the table view controllers and then continued using the table view data source protocol, right? So it is to give the data, and continued using the UITableView cell, added images. We did some practical. You can find the link to download the source code for the projects done in this session in the relevant download section in this series. Reference, we use Apple Developer Docs. And what's next? Have a look at our other videos for practicals on table view dynamic content, right? Also have a look at our other videos on Objective-C to Z, and also make sure to have a look at our other series on machine learning and data science, right? Okay guys, so it was a very successful session, and we are very excited to make you software developers, and so we are very excited, to make you as developers in a short period of time and send you to the industry ASAP, right? So look forward to another important lesson, and I will catch you in our next lesson. See you until that.